Once again, this is author Tim Brown of the book Uncommon Athletes, and I'm blessed to have with me today from Ohio State athlete, football player, CJ Saunders. And today, CJ is going to talk to us about chapter 3 in the book about uncommon sacrifice. And CJ, I'll let him tell his story, but CJ has a great story of sacrifice going from a top high school football player here in the Columbus area, lettered in 3 sports, football, basketball, and baseball, and decided to be a walk-on at Ohio State, being a non-scholarship player. CJ, how did that come about? And talk to us about the sacrifice you had to make, decision you had to make to be a walk-on at Ohio State.
Yeah, so for me, like Coach said, I played 3 sports in high school and loved every bit of it. Year round, was on a field or a court or anywhere I could, be active, be with friends and compete. And as I came to the end of my high school career back in 2015, I didn't have the offers that I would have wanted in a college, in a school. And I thought I had talent to go big, but it just didn't work out like that. And so had a couple Division II, Division III, JUCO type looks and just decided that wasn't for me. So I wanted to go to a school that I knew would help me grow and help my education. So I decided to go to Ohio State. And at that moment, I thought sports was over for me.
Oh, wow.
And that's where my story is kind of different. Is I didn't come into college as an athlete. I did my whole first semester just as a student, joined some clubs, met a lot of new people, but wasn't involved athletically at all.
Wow.
At about the midway point, the winter break is when I kind of started. I was the whole semester, but really at that time, December, I started missing the camaraderie, the goal chasing, the teamwork that comes with playing a team sport and playing sports in general. And so that's when I was able to get connected with actually Coach Fickle at the time, who was with Ohio State. And from there, the ball just started rolling, and they had some spot open for a walk-on, and joined as a cornerback when I had only played receiver. But at that point, it was just I didn't care what the position was as long as I was with the team and back, like I said, back chasing a goal and working together, working for something. And so that's kind of how my story began. And from there, it just took off in a long 4 or 5 years that I would have never imagined how it happened. But it became a great journey and made me a lot stronger as a man and as a person in general. So that's kind of how I joined the team and how I came about being on the Ohio State football team.
What was that process going from being for maybe a student athlete who's watching this? What's that process going from being a walk-on to a scholarship player? What is that process? And what kind of sacrifices did you have to make along the way?
Yeah, lots of sacrifices. And so for me, I'm an athletic guy, but I'm definitely not the best athlete. I'm not the fastest, the strongest, don't jump the highest, all, those qualities. So for me, it was how do I get to that point? You're at Ohio State where we are recruiting the top athletes in the country year in, year out. And I know my experience at Ohio State, whether I ever played on the field or not, that wasn't my goal. But what I did want was I just wanted to maximize whatever I could be. And so from that first freshman year, I was a scrawny, weaker kid at that time. And so I had a lot to grow. I had a lot of places that I need to improve if I ever even wanted to play or just to become, like I said, who I thought I could be. And so like you mentioned sacrifices, and that's really, that's what it takes, especially as a walk-on. You're not getting any of the amenities and the special attention that your scholarship guys will most likely be getting from coaches. So you have to take every coaching point that those guys are getting and put it into your own life. You also have to work. For me, I told myself I had to work at least twice as hard as these guys that I'm competing against to get my strength, my speed, my quickness to their level.
Right.
So when you say sacrifice, the first thing that came to mind was I had to figure out, okay, no longer can I be this average college student where I can stay up late and I can do this and that on the weekends. If I wanted to really be what I told myself and I wanted to compete here at this level and help the team and contribute, then I would have to start taking those little steps. And sacrifices in that sense was going to bed at the right time, because I knew I had to wake up for this 6 a.m. workout. So that was when I couldn't stay up all night playing video games or being out and about with my friends. So that was one sacrifice specifically, but there's many more that come with that. And it came down to, what did I want to be? What did I think I was capable of? And if I really wanted that, then I would have to make sacrifices to make that dream come true. And so, like I said, the sleep habits, the hanging out, are you hanging out with the right people? Are you mentally healthy? Am I checking in on myself? Am I talking to friends and family about what's going on and taking steps to make sure I'm improving every day? those are just a few of the sacrifices that you will have to make, especially as a walk-on, at any level, Division 1, 2, 3, or wherever you go. You're going to have to take it upon yourself strongly to gain that advantage back that you didn't have coming in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a couple of practical things that we talk about in the book with sacrifices, beginning with the end in mind.
Yep.
Start with the end in mind, and I'm sure your end goal was to be a scholarship player, and be a contributor to Ohio State, to the football team, not just being part of the team, but being a contributor, and then start with that end in mind, and then realize there's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts along the way. It's just hard work. It's hard work. And then thirdly, we talk about delayed gratification. And that's one I want, maybe you can speak to for these young athletes who are watching this, that whole concept of delayed gratification, how things just don't happen. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So I had that written down from your chapter, the exact same 3 bullet points. And I think when you talk about delayed gratification, there's nothing more true. And there's also can be nothing more frustrating at times, which you have to realize, because so for me, it was a 5-year career. And for all you athletes, whoever's watching, it could be whatever your length is. Mine was 5. You might be 1, 2, 3, whatever you want that to be, or how, God plans that out. But regardless of that, the fruits of what you bear and what you work with are not going to become, real to you right away. And so when I was a freshman, even sophomore, junior, I really wasn't playing a lot. So if that was the only thing I was focused on, then I was going to beat myself up every day. And because I was like, hey, I'm not playing. Now that's an unhealthy route. Rather, if you look at it when, okay, freshman, sophomore, junior, although I'm not playing, I'm a lot stronger than I was. I'm a lot better player than I was. And that might not be the case on Saturdays. Buckeye Nation and college football might not have seen that. But to myself and teammates and coaches, I was improving. So there's those little steps. And then as I got to year 4 and year 5, and I'm becoming a real contributor and a real player that can really help the team, that's when I start seeing some stuff. But it didn't just come at that moment. That came from years of hard work. And in the moment, that's hard to see. As you're just in that winter workout, it's like, dang, is this really worth it? Is this going to pay off? Okay, then you stack another winter on top of it. Then you go to summer. Then you go to fall camp. And now it's like it's coming together. I'm starting to see myself grow into who I wanted to be. That's what I think of when I think of delayed gratification. And the biggest one of all is because sports are going to end for all of us one day. I want to play in the NFL for a long time, but at some point it's going to end. And I can look back on my Ohio State career as a player now that I'm officially done in the Scarlet and Gray, and look at, regardless of the athlete it made me, college sports and just the true, harvest that I'm getting now is that it made me a better person. It made me understand. It helped me understand. It helped me build relationships. It helped me grow up, which is what I really needed. Yes. And that's the biggest thing that I'm thankful for in general, because I'm never going to be able to, do the numbers maybe of squad or run the same time that I did at Ohio State.
Right.
But that helped me in my relationships with guys like you, Coach, that are much older, but I can still communicate, listen, I can grow. There's so many more ways that I'm seeing benefits through my hard work. And so I think that's the biggest thing about delayed gratification, is that it will not come in the moment. Don't beat yourself up about that. Find those little victories. And over time, you look back, okay, now it's 5 years. Wow, did I grow a lot? Right. I'm a lot better person, a lot stronger man in many ways than I was when I was a freshman.
Yeah, that's good stuff. We try to get young people, athletes, to understand. You mentioned that word harvest a lot, and we talk about that farmer, how a farmer, you only plant, you only get what you sow. Whatever you sow, if you put in that hard work, that's what you're going to sow. And then you reap later than you sow. Like you said, it's a process. You're a freshman. You in that weight room in the winter as a freshman, weight room in the winter as a sophomore, junior. So and you're going to reap the harvest, maybe not right now, but later, what you sow. And then you'll reap more than you sow. And for me, for you, that more than you sow was becoming team captain. I mean, that was something. Talk to me about how does a walk-on, a guy who didn't even play, didn't come to college to play Ohio State, all of a sudden becomes a captain of the Ohio State football team. How does that happen?
It happens, I would say, through love, first and foremost, through care, through commitment.
Yes.
There's a lot of things, and every leader is going to be different. But I found my biggest success, and I felt like I gained the most traction with our guys and with my teammates and coaches through first showing them that I cared about them and showing them that I loved them. And that could be a lot of different ways. Maybe that's giving somebody a ride to practice when they need one. It could be something like that, helping somebody when they're down. It could also be, at practice, giving a tip instead of keeping it to myself.
Right.
Give, my fellow receiver, a fellow, cornerback, hey, here's how I beat you, maybe. Let's look at this. Let's work together. And that was kind of how I started. I had a good knowledge of the game, even if I couldn't do it physically.
Mm-hmm.
And starting to share that with players and show like, hey, I really do want you to be as good as you can be, just as bad as I want myself to be good.
Right.
Stack that years, months turns into years. And you just build those relationships with guys that they're like, this is a guy I can count on. And that's what I wanted to be. I just wanted to be somebody that could be counted on. And my goal was never to be team captain. And I think that actually helped me.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than being like, here's, I want to be this guy looked at. I just went out and said, hey, every day I'm going to go day by day, treat each player, whether it's the walk on at the bottom of the roster, or it's the first round draft pick. I'm going to treat you guys the same. And from there, that's how, the relationships just become stable. And it's more so I'm not treating this guy up here a lot better than I'm treating the bottom guy. It's just, hey, we're all trying to get better. We all love each other. We all want the same goal. Let's do it together. And that really helped me a lot. And then obviously I was blessed enough that my teammates were voted me as team captain. And then, once I looked back, it's like, okay, now I'm really a captain. How did that happen? It wasn't because I was the best player. It wasn't because I was the strongest or fastest guy. It really, I think, was because, hey, this guy is going to he's going to help the team. He's going to love us. He's going to care for us. He's going to put the team before himself, and he's going to always make sure we're going in the right direction. And I think that's why, my teammates voted me as a captain.
Lastly, can you speak about, you had an injury this past season, didn't get to play much at all. How did I know you're a strong man of faith. How did your faith play a role, got you through that time? So, and, to continue to keep you focused and continue to keep your eye on the prize, on the end goal.
Yeah, it was huge. And like Coach said, I'm a strong believer in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And through that relationship, it wasn't easy. When I look back at that injury, so I got hurt at the end of preseason. I was having a really good preseason camp, preparing for a really good senior season, and dealt with some knee injury and that I had to get surgery for. And so I was like, okay, I had to take some time, and it took me a little bit to weep and to be like, man, like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
But at some point you got to snap out of that. You got to look, you got to keep your eyes up. Like you said, eyes on the prize. And so for me, once I came out, I took some time in my room and just, I cried and was like, hey, what's going on? Why is this happening? Not what I expected. Okay. When I walked out of that room, I was like, I'm going to attack recovery. I'm going to attack being a captain. I still am a captain. I'm going to attack helping my teammates. And so what my faith did was gave me that. If I didn't have any faith, I would have just looked at this whole fall as like, damn, why is this happening to me? I should be out there doing what he's doing. I should be getting ready for the NFL. Instead, the outlook and the switching the eyes to a Christ-like mindset allowed me to look out for others rather than I should, feeling pity for myself. And so I didn't do it alone. I had mentors. I was with friends in my faith that helped me. And it wasn't just, one guy. It was, we all came together, and guys in a lot of families were just around me, and through prayer that I was able to every day have a heart where hopefully I showed for my teammates and staff and all our program, like, hey, okay, I might be down, but I'm still going to help this team get better. I'm still going to go and gun for the goal and help us reach our objective. But like you said, Jesus was the key in all of that. And as hard as that can be, there's ups and downs in everyone's faith and everyone's walks. And sometimes it's easy to follow the Lord, and sometimes it's hard. And I had a lot of those days, ups and downs through the fall, but Jesus is always going to be there. He's always going to be firm, even when I'm up and down and wavering. And that's something that I look for and just am thankful for in Jesus, that he gives me. And I can, at the end of the day, I know this is a rock that I can rely upon. Although I'm hurt, maybe I might be sad that I don't get my season. There's all these reasons to look down. There's one major one to look up. And that at the end of the day, I got somebody that's got my back no matter what, through injury and tiredness and soreness, that God is there for me. And so my faith really helped me through this fall, like you said, Coach.
Mm-hmm. Good. Well, CJ, I want to thank you for this, for taking time out to be a part of this series. And I believe your words today truly will encourage a young athlete, coach, or someone who's going through something in life, period. How important it is to continue to fight, not to give up. There's going to be bumps along the road. There's going to be sacrifices, but yours, I believe, is a testimony of what true sacrifice is all about. We're willing to put others before yourself, considering others better than yourself and doing it. We use that cliche in sports, taking one for the team. We throw that out a lot, but it's very few guys who live that. They say it a lot, but very few guys. And you truly are a living testimony of doing that, and your sacrifice is one that the Ohio State University greatly appreciates. And I want to wish you well in your future endeavors. So thanks again, CJ Saunders, Ohio State player, for joining us, and look forward to seeing the great things that God's going to do through you. Be blessed.
Appreciate you, Coach. Thanks, Coach.